Welcome back to another episode of Motorsport Manager 3. The next two episodes after this also had recording issues, so that's why you're seeing these videos again, even though you might have seen them when they first came in the sub box a couple of, probably about a week ago, so I apologise for that. It's really annoying, but we're sort of back on track. So, nonetheless, this is part 32 of the career mode, so we've been going quite a long time, been thoroughly enjoying this series, and hopefully you have too. I've seen some really decent support on this series, so I appreciate that. And you can see here we're starting off by purchasing a rear wing mod, and it's got pretty decent percentage of reliability increase, so that's what we decided to do, put it on the car that had the worst reliability and move on from there. I was pretty happy with that. Then I realised that we've got quite a few mechanics and staff available to us, a lot of them now, getting to nearly 20 out of 20. In fact, one of them is 20 out of 20, or two of them are 20 out of 20 there, which is obviously quite surprising. Two of the best in the game we've got for us right now. I'm like, wow, okay. I feel like we should probably hire one of these, but I don't know. I really am not sure, because their traits aren't exactly what I want. Like tyre changes 40%, refueling is 3 times faster, both are alright. And with Ashikaga, his aren't particularly great either, with the park conditions and the tyres as well. I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't thinking about changing it here. And we've definitely, I've also got some decent ones here as well. But once again, they're not quite good enough for me to take the plunge and hire someone new, because of course that's extra costs. And I just wasn't really wanting that at the early stages of the Formula, I'm just going to call it Formula 1 season. Yeah, I didn't want to have that right at the start of the Formula 1 season. So, you can see here, we're skipping through to the next race in the series here, quickly saving the game. And as you can see, I was just double checking it was recording. So the second race of the season comes from Tondela, the Portuguese track in the game. Now, personally, this is the track I always feel I struggle at. I just don't know, it just always seems to go badly for me at this track. So fingers crossed this time it can go a little bit better for us here. So setup, you guys know the drill here. Always just trying to eke the most out of the setup possible, and hopefully come race day we'll have got the best one. And 40% on Stewart's car isn't too bad whatsoever, and we've got the soft and medium tyres to go along with the hard tyres for this race. So it looks like it might be a medium race or a soft hard stint race, because that's the way the tyres look like they'll play out. So now with Nixon, he's got a few more mechanics bars to rack up, and he's already at 45%. This is a really good setup run here. 58% on the first run. That's pretty incredible here. You don't normally get that much. You normally struggle to get anywhere near 50 on the first setup run. So I was really happy there with Nixon's setup. Now, we definitely did luck into our result in the first race of the season. I mean, yes, we did put sort of right place, right time, but at the same time, I realised it was a little bit lucky, so I wasn't taking it for granted. I knew that we probably had quite a bit of time to be gained. So, you can see here, right away, this is obviously only the second race of the season. We've still got a lot of development work to do, and we're going to be putting a new setup on the car. Oh, wow. Well. What am I doing? What a fail. What a fail. Anyway, so we'll go a little bit less risky with Stewart. Now we completely messed that one up. And hopefully Stewart's going to get, she's probably going to get over 70% here, I think. 72%. Am I risk that one? Yes, I do. So that's going to be 76%. So we might just about be able to squeeze an extra setup run in. I really hope we do, actually, because obviously now I've messed Nixon's setup a bit. I don't really want him to start that on that setup. I need to go really improve that again. But we've got a bit of an advantage to Gaetano behind us. Obviously Panther in front of us, Steinman and Scuderia Rossini. They're the top three teams, that's pretty evident. And we should be ahead of Gaetano and the rest of the field, which I think that we should be a little bit quicker than. But it's pretty close, especially with Gaetano. So Gaetano are really the ones that we're going to be watching out for this season. They're the team that seem to be closest to us. So, putting another setup on the car here. This is obviously very important for Nixon, and somehow it goes to 100%. I mean, pretty lucky there, pretty lucky. I didn't feel that after all that we were going to get the perfect setup, and it is just somehow all came together, which is fantastic. So, Now with Stewart as well, getting the perfect setup. Are we going to risk it? Yes, we are. We get the perfect setup with both cars. This is where I really wish I had the live commentary, because I was really excited at this point. I was like, wow, that happened. I didn't honestly think that was going to happen, because I don't think I've ever had that. I mean, I probably actually have, but across this and the PC game, I'm sure it has happened. But it's a very unlikely event that both of your driver lineups get 100% setup. So I was buzzing at this point. So both cars setting green sectors there, fastest. Personal times for both of them there, and they're both just over a second behind the eventual fastest time, which was set by Larson just ahead of Noir and Graf. This is your top three. The top six, to be fair to them, are separated by only a couple of tenths of a second, and I personally knew that we weren't really going to be in the contention for top six, but I was happy with it. We were a couple of tenths ahead of the car that starts in 9th place, so I was pretty happy with that. And I suppose definitely asserting ourselves as the fourth best team on the grid. I think that was pretty good. So, just going through the setup screen, obviously starting this race, I decided to start both on mediums, or do I? No, I tried something a little bit different there with Stewart. She's going to start on these softs, and Nixon, who didn't actually have as good a qualifying as I thought there, he starts behind Stewart down the medium compound tyre. So, lights are out, and away we go. We know our real battle in this race is with the Catano cars of Carlos Sain and Salah. So let's see what happens. We've dropped behind both of them with Nixon, but Stewart's just ahead of them so far, which is good. And you can see the top three teams are running away with it right now. They're already building up a couple of seconds advantage over myself already, and we're only on lap number 3 here. But Nixon, he's got ahead of Salah. Salah's dropped down the order a little bit, and Nixon's making a big mistake there by the look of it. He's dropped down to P12. He was in P9 there for a second. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but some sort of mistake for sure. And Stewart's doing quite good at conserving the tyres. You can see the people around her, well, the people in front. I've got tyres that are about 5, even to 10% worse off. So that was pretty incredible that Stewart was conserving the tyres so much early on in this race. Now, I was unsure what to do, so what I decided to do is try a different strategy approach here. Stewart's going to try a 2-stop race, and Nixon's going to try a 1-stop race. And Nixon's done actually quite a good job with his fuel saving. I think that's a part of his mechanic's trait, is it? Or maybe it's his one of his traits. Basically just really good at fuel conservation, which helps him out in the race. You can see we're burning a lot of fuel now with Nixon, who's currently sitting P6. Actually behind a couple of people that already pitted, which is obviously a little bit embarrassing. But Stewart on the soft compound tyres, also now burning a bit of extra fuel here to try and get through the traffic. On the soft compound tyres, doing a pretty good job. Just behind De Graaf, actually keeping up with De Graaf here. But of course, De Graaf's on the hard compound tyres, and it was to be expected. We probably weren't going to be finishing ahead of the Rossini. But now we decide to pit with Nixon here. Just over half race distance here, meaning we can probably push a little bit more on this second stint of medium compound tyres. But that does drop Nixon all the way down. It was to P15 briefly there, but as he exits the pit lane, he's up to P11. He's on those medium compound tyres, where everyone else is pretty much on the hard compound tyres, and he's really making gains now up to P8. And you can see Stewart in the next lap or so is going to have to come in and put on some more soft compound tyres. She's sort of been wearing down those pretty quickly, and of course we knew that we were going to have to pit again, and this was the lap that we decided to do it. And Lucien Besson was just behind actually, so surprisingly we were ahead of them, but of course it wasn't really on natural pace. It was more about just having the better tyres on. So now Carlos Sain is just behind Nixon. He's on the soft compound tyres, putting some pressure on Nixon on the faster compounded tyres, but he's going to be doing a lot more tyre conservation. You can see, or I can assume, that Carlos Sain is trying to go to the end of this race, and 3 laps remaining. 35% tyres. It's going to be tough because the soft compound tyres definitely wear down a bit quicker than that. So Nixon burning through his fuel. Stewart also trying to burn through her fuel, but now we realise we're going to have to save a bit of fuel here, otherwise we're not going to have to get to the end of this race here. But Stewart surprisingly caught up to the back and then just didn't really do anything about it. So I was a little bit disappointed here. I probably should have pushed Stewart. Looking back at this, I probably should have pushed Stewart with a couple of laps to go here. But Stewart did get past anyway, because Carlos Sain basically was running on the rims by the end of the race. You can see they're 1% tyres as Carlos Sain crossed the line, and Salah, his teammate, didn't really do much better, a 4%. But overall, I was pretty happy there with how the race ran. We managed to get my personal target positions, which are 7th and 8th, and that's where we're sitting in the standings as well. And 4th place in the Constructors with a 23-point lead over Catano, which I've definitely taken in Van Dort sitting just behind them. So that is pretty much it for this episode, guys. Remember to drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys all around soon for more MM3. Goodbye.